Yeah.
nonsense.
That Pollyanna thing really is really important to me. It because like being an actor and seeing the behind the scenes and seeing how marketing works and what's worked and what doesn't. Like we saw all the Olive Garden commercials and how just cheesy, over the top Pollyanna it was, and just it was like just did not do well. I've discovered actually the antidote to Pollyanna. Like it's still a positive message, but you get rid of that like that flavor. It's humor. If you can make them
Oh.
laugh, you've hooked them in. That's it. If you can make them laugh, you've already hooked them. So
Mm-hmm.
what's happening now is a lot you see that a lot of commercials are humorous. It's
Mm-hmm.
they try to put in some kind of, either whether it's awkward humor or situational humor, but you see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it is humor because they've discovered like we still want it to be positive, but we can't have it be cheesy. Please, Lord.
Right.
Because in today's, 2021 and, media age, cheesy will kill your ad immediately. It's like, "Oh, that's
Right.
gross. Like I'm not that's that's not real life."
Well,
That's
because it's not real. Right.
exactly. It's not real. But so even
Right.
though it's positive, if you can make it funny, that's the hook.
Well, and that's the difficulty with spirituality, because
Right.
spirituality doesn't rely on the real,
Yeah,
right? It sometimes is the exact reverse of worldly wisdom.
exactly.
How can you be
Exactly.
forgiving in the face of, betrayal? How can you love in the face of an active shooter? How can you trust in the face of the massive social inequity? Right. And this is where spirituality calls us to that deep, deep, deep practice. And to me, it's a practice of double vision. I have to be able to see through the real to spiritual truth. And and yeah, and there's something about authenticity that's really important. um, but the way in which we denigrate spirituality and spiritual truth is we cling to facts and to realness. Like, it's like, and I mean, people do it with their, well, money's real, like the economy's real, so spirituality, whatever. Or hate is real, so we have to fight against hate and discrimination, so
Mm,
spirituality, whatever, love,
yeah.
whatever. Right. And yet it can't be just love. I think Shakira you hit the nail on the head. It's got to be with accountability. I mean, that's what tough love is. Fierce love is accountability. I love you enough to tell you the truth. I love you enough to hold you accountable for the fact that you have now removed yourself from humanity by shooting people in a grocery store. Sorry, end of sentence. This, I don't even care whether you're a terrorist or Syrian or born in America or not.
Yeah.
Really, ultimately, no.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
No.
No.
And I can still see that you're a child of God and you come to some deep revelation. You will actually become a healed individual, whether we ever let you out or not. I don't know, but you will become a healed individual. And so, these are, I mean, this is, and I think that and I think you've also said something really important, is that our over the economic engine, which is based on creating a sense of lack in your life and causing you to want more stuff, right? And then
Hmm.
overselling everything.
Right.
You're going to be sexier if you buy this washing machine. Like, what?
That's
What?
real.
Okay,
We
you
laugh
know, if
about
I
it, but
can
it's
wash my
real.
clothes like that girl on that
Yeah,
commercial,
this is
go
how I
ahead.
wash my clothes. Like,
I
Yes,
know. It's like,
what are you
what?
doing?
Right? Right? So of course we're not stupid, right? Especially our kids that have grown up with this 24/7. So
Hmm.
so what has happened is we've created a culture of cynicism.
mm,
Yep. You're so
Everything's
right.
suspect. Everything's suspect because everything is oversold, and everything is sold in, well, we're going to make you happy and successful and desirable, and you're going to be desirable until you're 80, and then you're going to be fabulous, and everything's going to be fabulous and wonderful if you just buy my product.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that thing which takes the toenail, cleans your toenails. Not that anybody's going to see it, but I promise you're going to be sexy and
Yeah,
fabulous.
exactly.
Right. And so, on the other hand, right, we've become suspicious of all of that. And so how do you then narrate truth into being when we're all somewhat skeptical and suspicious? And I think maybe that's where that humor thing comes in, Oscar, where it's trying not to take it so seriously, trying not to pretend that every spiritual truth is going to, like, okay, now you're enlightened. Yeah. It'll always be perfect from here on out. Right. Now you're going to be the best you're going to be. Now you're going to always be prosperous. Now you're, you know, it's like, okay, well, my experience is I've been doing this for a really long time, and every day I'm a little better than the day before, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So communication, I don't know what that has to do with communication.
Everything, I think.
I think it has a lot to do with communication, because when you have a foundational recognition of spirituality or anything that you're doing as starting in the spirituality or the principles of your spirituality, then your internal communication, or what we call it at Howard, because, you know, my degree is in communication. So, you know, this is my jump. But the intrapersonal communication, that communication that's happening within ourselves, is narrated, right? Those affirmations, what we affirm about ourselves, the story we tell ourselves, and the things that you were just mentioning, Petra, and then that interpersonal communication. So when we leave ourselves and then deal with humanity, we're dealing with how we communicate and deal with each other, like we're on this call right now. And so when you were talking, Petra, you talked about the stories and everything, and just like the vision that we paint for ourselves. What about our pledges to ourselves? I remember I was in a class with Brianna, our managing director, and she was teaching us things about conscious parenting, and I totally love, like, just her way of doing this work. But she talked about, what if you had a pledge for your family, where every day you and your children could recite that pledge, right? And you can hold yourselves accountable to that. And so one of the things that me and Louie had already started doing was we had started a warrior pledge, right? And it's not to say warrior as in we worry about everything, right? Not to break down the word into that kind of energy, but that we stand for something, right? And we continuously stand for that thing. And so one of the lessons out of our pledge is we learn that we may teach, and we teach that we may learn. Mm-hmm. And so whenever we have a moment where there needs to be some learning or some teaching, I say, we learn that we may what? And my son says, teach. And I say, and we teach that we may what? And he says, learn, right? And then one of the other things in our home is be loving or be what? Nothing. Be loving or be nothing, period. So when there's spats in the house, we have to be loving or be what? Somebody has to hold the home accountable. And if everything starts at home, and if we start the foundations of our homes in spirituality and spiritual truth, I think then there's another answer to the question, Oscar, about how we emotionalize that, and then how we take that out into the world in which we do.